Alright, let's dive into something that's been making waves in the UK lately, Andy Burnham's devolution plan. Now, I know what you're thinking, devolution? Sounds like a dry political term, right? But here's the thing, this could be a game-changer for London, especially when it comes to transport, jobs, and housing. And personally, I think it's worth unpacking because it's not just about shifting power, it's about reshaping how cities like London operate. So, what's the big deal? Well, for the first time, mayors will get a share of the taxes raised in their areas. Sounds simple, but this is huge. City experts are calling it the most significant moment for devolution in 25 years. Why? Because it gives local leaders more control over their budgets, which means they can invest in long-term projects without constantly begging Westminster for cash. From my perspective, this is about trusting local leaders to know what their cities need. And let's be honest, London's transport system, housing crisis, and job market could use some local ingenuity. Now, let's talk transport. The Transport Secretary announced that mayors can now fast-track projects up to £500 million without needing Whitehall's approval. That's a massive jump from the previous £200 million threshold. What makes this really interesting is the potential for projects like tram schemes, metro extensions, and station upgrades to get off the ground faster. But here's the catch, London's infrastructure needs often exceed £500 million. Take the West London Orbital, for example, it's considered cheap but still needs at least £1 billion. So, while this is a step in the right direction, it's not a silver bullet. What this really suggests is that we need a more nuanced approach to funding thresholds. Housing is another area where this devolution plan could make a difference. If City Hall gets more borrowing powers or funding certainty, we could see a boost in affordable homes and regeneration projects. Antonia Jennings from the Centre for London pointed out that London has proven it can deliver, look at the Elizabeth line. But she also warned that London's challenges are unique. Productivity is stagnant, housing costs are through the roof, and poverty rates are alarming. In my opinion, giving London's leaders the tools to tackle these issues now is crucial. Waiting for other regions to catch up isn't the answer. Now, let's talk jobs. If housing and infrastructure projects get a boost, it's a no-brainer that job opportunities will follow. Burnham's plan also gives mayors more control over funding for young people aged 16 to 19, which could help them train for local jobs. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about creating jobs, it's about creating the right jobs. London needs to attract investment in innovative industries, and this plan could help make that happen. But here's where it gets tricky. Critics worry that wealthier areas like London will gain a disproportionate advantage. Studies show that giving mayors 2.5% of the basic income tax rate would mean £2.3 billion for London but just £135 million for Hull and East Yorkshire. That's a massive gap. Ministers say they'll introduce mechanisms to reduce regional inequalities, but the devil's in the details. Personally, I think this is a valid concern. Devolution should empower all regions, not just the already prosperous ones. So, if you take a step back and think about it, Burnham's plan is ambitious, but it's also a balancing act. It's about giving cities like London the autonomy they need while ensuring fairness across the UK. One thing that immediately stands out is the potential for this to be a turning point, but it's also clear that the challenges are complex. London's leaders are eager to get started, but they'll need to navigate these challenges carefully. What this really raises is a deeper question: can devolution solve the UK's regional inequalities, or will it just widen the gap? I don't have the answer, but I'm fascinated by the possibilities. What do you think? Is Burnham's plan the right move, or are we missing something? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the big issues shaping our world.